What's up, everyone? So we've got the E9X M3 with a new exhaust. There's a lot of exhaust out there for this platform, given it's been out for, you know, how many years now. This exhaust is a full exhaust system from Active Auto Work. So I've got the full midsection, which is the race pipe, so it's catless, straight all the way through. And then I've got the Gen 2 signature rear section, which I like that exhaust a lot because it has the noise canceling chambers in it, which actually the OEM exhaust from BMW had the similar setup. So they kind of designed their own. So I'm in third gear at 1800, 2000 RPMs, cruising pretty slow right now. So this is like your average, whatever, around town driving. And as you can see, there's literally no drone. You can hear the exhaust, it's a nice tone, but if I'm off throttle and just cruising around 1500, 2000 RPM, there's no drone. And then if I get up to, let's see, drop it in third gear. So this is right at 2000 RPMs. I know you guys can't hear that well, but see right there, a little bit of a drone, but then it levels out. Like it's not, I mean, the G80 honestly has more of a drone than this car does. And I think this sounds really, really good. And yeah, the G80 definitely has more of a drone. Yeah, this thing sounds so good. So we just eased over the speed bump there. I'll tell you one thing about this exhaust that I didn't realize is the driver's side exhaust mid-pipe, when it connects on the driver's side, is super low, like noticeably lower than the passenger side. And in doing some research, I guess that's how it was designed, with a big, you know, the big wider diameter exhaust. I guess it had to do that to route past some of the heat shielding and everything else. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I just wasn't expecting it to be that low. So that speed bump back there, thankfully, we were able to clear it. But it makes me a little nervous driving around town that some of these lower speed bumps, I don't want to high center it. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm always super aware of where I'm going and what might be there, but you can't always figure those type of things out. But if you're getting an exhaust, again, didn't realize that was the case. So it's honestly the lowest point on the car now is that one driver's side exhaust section. So probably the only complaint I have about this exhaust, really. But other than that, man, the sound of the exhaust makes up for it because this thing is ridiculous. So low RPMs, pretty quiet other than that, but once you rip it up, woo! I hope you guys can hear that. I know it's hard without miking the back of the car, but dang. It rips. Somewhere in that 3,500 to 4,000 RPM range, I mean, it comes alive. Man, that sounds so good. But then again, right, 50 miles an hour, you know, dropped into 6th gear, 2,000 RPMs, you guys probably can't even hear it. You probably hear more of the wind coming through the windows than you do the exhaust itself. So, completely comfortable to drive. And then if you want to get on it, it's gonna come alive, and it's gonna sound really, really good. So, I mean, kind of the best of both worlds with this exhaust. Oh man, those downshifts sound so good too. Golly. And since the system was a full exhaust, cats removed, I went ahead and got it tuned as well with the active tune. And technically, I guess this would be a stage 2 tune. And with this system I have set up, it really smoothed everything out. Obviously, check engine light's gone because of the you know, the cats were removed, so that was obviously a thing that needed to be done immediately. But I think with the full system and the tune, probably in the 35-ish horsepower gain to the wheels. So this car is probably in the 450, give or take a few to the wheels category. For this car, you know, to have that, I mean, you know, I don't have no plans on supercharging this car, so might be a couple more things. Obviously, I'm going to upgrade the intake soon, which will be negligible in power, a little bit more so just sound and looks. But yeah, but the tune overall, I mean, power improvement, yes, but the idle, the power delivery, the shifts, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just some butt dyno stuff, but it really is a hell of a lot smoother than it was stock. And obviously that's the whole point of it, right? I mean, you're having a lot more airflow with a full exhaust like that, and you're having it tuned to be able to handle that, and that's the point. So obviously this car has that tune, so I can't speak to any other tunes, but from what I've done on my research, this is the one to get if you want conservative power, you want it to make power, be smooth, and to, you know, not push the engine too much, but still get that nice power gain. This active tune is the way to go, especially if you're doing the full active exhaust. So those two together, I couldn't be happier. 35-ish plus horsepower gain, a lot smoother driving experience, and obviously the noise out there is redonkulous. So I'm happy with this. I mean, this car, as soon as I got it, I've had it almost a year. Those of you guys that have followed this build so far, you know, it's been April of 24. Yeah, so I'm filming this in March of 25. So again, I wanted to get this car right. I wanted to get it, you know, no issues, no leaks, nothing that's gonna break down or cause issues in the future. You know, maintenance before mods. That's what I like to do. I don't want to spend money on an exhaust like this and then it break down. What's the point? Home sweet home. Okay, before I forget, let me show you guys what I was talking about. I know it doesn't look like much from here, but probably probably 4.5 inches off the ground. So small to regular speed bumps, I'm good. But you can see it is literally the lowest point of the car by far, front to rear. So something to note if you guys want to get this exhaust, that is a thing. But other than that, I can't complain because this thing is awesome, sounds absolutely amazing. Shout out to the team at PSI, Sean over there, for getting this exhaust put on. As you guys know, I like to do everything myself if I can, but when it's just me without a lift and no one to help and somewhat of a time crunch, those guys are my go-to. They always take care of me. Everything always comes back perfect. So big shout out to PSI for helping me out here in Central Florida. Man, I love the brushed silver look of these tips. I don't even know if you can get any other tips for this. I mean, this may be the only option tip that Active provides. I might be wrong, but if I am, let me know in the comments. But it doesn't matter because I like them. I don't think a black or a carbon fiber or anything else would have looked right on this car. So I think this looks awesome. They're definitely more pronounced than OEM, definitely wider, definitely, you know, girthier, but the only thing I'm missing now is a diffuser for the rear. Nothing crazy. I think I'm not gonna give anything away. I have one in mind, but just to kind of round out and kind of, you know, so to speak, grab the surrounding areas of the exhaust tips, because it is kind of sticking out a little too much for the exhaust tips in my taste. I mean, they look amazing, and the proportions and rear of these E9X cars are really, really good. But again, nothing crazy, but I've got one in mind. We'll see if you guys like it once I get it installed, but just to kind of outline and grab the proportions of the car, to accentuate it. That's the word I was looking for. Not to change anything, just accentuate it. Similar to the Adro front bumper. I mean, it is aggressive, but it accentuates the body lines. This is my favorite part, is right here, how it just kind of outlines and extends the angle of the front bumper of this car, and I think it looks really, really good. So something similar for the rear. I think it's gonna complement the exhaust, so we'll see. So if you're not familiar with the system from Active, as you can see, true duals on both sides, standard M configuration, but for this one, so these are actually the rear section, so those are the mufflers for this Active rear section, but this right here, as you can see, it splits off on both sides. It's not valved, but what it is these are noise canceling chambers. NCCs is what they call it. So there's no connection point here. This, what it does is the sound comes down, and around that 2000 RPM ish typical drone RPM range that most exhausts will provide, these somehow, I'm not an expert on this, I didn't design it, but I do know it works. As you guys saw a few minutes ago in this video, the sound routes through here, bounces around, reverberates, does what muffler stuff does, and it cancels it out. The OEM system had it, so what they did was, you're getting a straight pipe system, so it's louder, but you're still retaining that, and that was their way of doing it without putting a massive rear section box back here like the OEM one does. So it looks good, it's clean, you can't really see it from the rear, so it's hidden, and not that it looks bad, but again, you just can't see. It's tucked up nicely, tucked up a lot better than that front. Let me see if I can show you guys from here. Dang, there it is. Look at that, man. I don't know why this bothers me so much. Yeah, so from back here, so there's the right side of the exhaust. It's not focusing, but you guys can see the point of what I'm talking about. And there's the left side, right there. So there, that's a good angle. Look at that. That is substantial. There we go. There's the flange on the right side. Good grief. Okay, it's not focusing. You guys get the point. There's the flange on the right side and the left side. That sucker is down there, dude. So again, just be mindful. But moving on. Anyways, system looks amazing. That silver finish across the exhaust is just typical of Active. Looks really, really good. Well made here in America, which I love. Can't beat it. So there it is, guys. That's the Active setup for the E9X M3. Again, Active full system. So you've got the rear section Gen 2 in the back, which we just showed you. And then you've got the midsection, which is the straight pipe or the race, what they call it. So there's no mufflers, no cats at all, straight through. So you do get that gas smell. So whenever I fire it up, I always pull it out of the garage and let it warm up, because it will fill the garage with gas, that's for sure. But it's not a daily, so I don't care. I wanted the sound and a little bit more performance out of it. But it's absolutely incredible. I love it. Let me know what you guys think about it. I know it's not the loudest, and I know that there are other ones that are really good out there, but this is what I chose, and that's why I think it's probably the best of both worlds for an exhaust setup for this chassis. If you want to have an exhaust that screams and rips out of a V8, which we all do, and then you want one that can also be tame and chill without having valves. Again, you can just drive, modulate it, low RPMs, cruise around town, and then you just drop gear, kick it up in RPMs, and it's gonna rip. So different than the G80 exhaust, which is kind of just the same throughout. It's pretty loud, but it's valved, so that makes a difference. This one's not. I know there are valved exhausts for this car, but I think this one, as a one size fits all option, is a really good fit for best of both worlds, in my opinion. So let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you watching. Thank you as always, and keep driving your legacy.